Jim Cunningham from Classical QED 89.3 with the Concertmaster of the Pittsburgh Symphony, Noah Bendix-Balgley. Maestro, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Can't wait to hear your Scottish fantasy this weekend with the Pittsburgh Symphony. Very exciting. Max Bruch was afraid he'd be a one-hit wonder. The people only know him for his G minor concerto. But the Scottish fantasy makes a close second, I'd say. It's a great piece.
Yeah, it's not quite as popular as the first violin concerto, but I think it's every bit as good of a piece. And I really love this piece. It's full of gorgeous melodies and nice dance tunes, a lot of virtuosic writing. So I've always loved listening to the piece and playing it. So it's going to be a lot of fun this weekend.
In the formal title, he says free use of Scottish tunes, but there are some real Scottish tunes in here.
Yes, yeah, there are Scottish tunes, although he didn't actually visit Scotland beforehand to find these tunes. I think he actually just looked them up in a library book in Germany. But he does use real Scottish tunes. Each movement is based on a particular one, and they're beautiful tunes. I particularly love the one in the third movement.
He told a musicologist that he thought of himself as a bard telling ancient stories, looking at a old ruined castle.
Yeah.
And it starts out in a kind of
that's
mysterious way.
My idea of the opening of this piece. It starts out in E flat minor of all keys, a very kind of gloomy key,
dark,
and with a sort of a chorale, and then everything kind of stops. There's a stillness, and the violin comes in out of nowhere. It's very kind of cinematic opening. I always see that kind of crumbling castle up on the hill and the fog there. So it's nice, and then things get rolling, and the harp plays a really important role in this as well.
Now, was it for Joachim or Pablo de Sarasate? Well, it was dedicated to one and played by the other.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. It's the only work I know of that has both violinist stamps on it. Bruch intended to write it for Sarasate, and he corresponded with him, but I guess Sarasate was busy with something else and never really got back to him, and Bruch got kind of impatient, and so he went to his friend Joachim, and Joachim had something to do with the violin part and making it lie well with the instrument, and he gave the premiere, but apparently it was not a success, and Bruch was really not at all happy with Joachim's performance, which I find hard to believe. So then he went back to Sarasate later and did it again with Sarasate as the soloist.
Yeah, I think he wrote some unkind things.
He did,
it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Wow. And this weekend is a violinist summit for you. We have Nikolai Znaider conducting,
Yeah.
a great violinist who is also a conductor.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. 2 years ago, during the season, he played both the Sibelius Concerto as a soloist, and then he came back a couple weeks later and conducted us. It made a very good impression with his conducting. So we're looking forward to having him back. And of course, it's hard to think of somebody who would know the piece better than Nikolai Znaider to conduct.
And you've played with the symphony on a couple of occasions. Last year we had your Beethoven concerto, so you're comfortable now standing in front of the orchestra that you lead all the time anyway.
Well, it's particularly exciting to play at home with the PSO. It's there's that sense of community and all of your friends and colleagues there behind you playing in the orchestra. It's really a lot of fun, and the collaborative spirit is there. It's not like going into a town to play a concerto and not knowing anybody in the orchestra here. It's just
Good deal.
at home, a home field advantage, hopefully.